right, then let's get into our main topic.
Let's get dark.
All right, then for our main topic, we have Ben and I, for the first time, I believe, have watched The Dark Crystal. I figure a good time to talk about The Dark Crystal movie is the same weekend that the TV show drops.
Yes.
Yeah. Just came out, baby.
I mean, like, we don't need to be, like, vague about it either. We also did this because Ryan, Ben, and I are about to embark on the adventure of the show for Fake Nerds Watch.
Yep.
So we wanted to revisit the film, and this seemed like a good, like, hey, guys, we're going to talk about the movie, then go listen to us talk about the show on Fake Nerds Watch.
Much like... the Netflix show is a prequel to the movie we watched. This is a prequel to Fake Nerds Watch.
Excellent.
Wow, it's just
I love the
worlds
synergy.
collide, baby.
It's all coming together.
When was the last time you saw this movie, Ryan?
Over 15 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say close to 20 for me.
Yeah. I was definitely youngin'.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't remember half this movie. I'm a fan of puppets.
Yeah.
Either you are or you aren't. And I'm a fan of puppets.
Pretty much anything made by Jim Henson, I'm a fan of.
I love this era. Like, I love this in Labyrinth. And rewatching it again, I'm like, I like it.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I can. I think that what it is I never owned this on home video.
Okay.
So I wasn't, like, rewatching this.
Yeah.
I just saw it maybe once or twice on television. And, like, I liked it, but I never got the, like, massive appeal where I wanted to go back to it so bad I bought it on home video. I would more often, like, I'm in the mood for that kind of thing. I'm going to go to the Muppets or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This isn't me saying it's bad. This is just I don't have that kind of affinity for it. Rewatching it was an experience. You brought up, Brandon, that it's very paced to its time, and that's very true.
Yep.
Oh yeah, a lot of films back then were paced the same way.
Yeah, but it's
I still think it's really good.
Puppeteers and practicals really hold up.
Yeah, they do.
30 years later, nearly 40
Not just
years
that,
later.
but like I forgot how adult this movie was for being a kids movie. Like introducing the concepts of death and stuff like that. Like just straight up saying, "I'm dying. Good luck," and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like kids watching this in 1982, like they didn't have PG-13 back then. This might have been PG-13.
Maybe we'll meet in the next life, but not again in this one.
Yeah, that is messed up. And then he Yoda's away.
Yeah,
it's a really good line.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. I've never seen this film.
Okay.
I always got it confused with Labyrinth.
Sure.
Just because Jim
puppets.
Henson.
The aesthetics are similar.
Yeah.
One's missing David Bowie's huge bulge though. So.
One's missing living people.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I'm not sure if I like this one. I guess I did, but I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting on this weird place, having not grown up with this film.
Sure.
Having not seen it probably at the time that I would have appreciated it. Like Neverending Story, I often feel like if you watch Neverending Story as an adult, probably not going to like it as much as you see it when
I feel like
if you're watching it for the first time.
I feel like I'm in the minority where like I can appreciate any movie no matter what time it came out, and because I know it came out in 1980s, it's going to be like that. I don't personally. This is just me, of course. Like if I didn't see this movie, I still would feel the same feeling I do because it's about puppets and it's talking about death at a young age for children, and we don't get a lot of movies like this.
Sure.
So for me,
especially
I'm
not
it.
anymore because kids' movies have evolved into a different type of art form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Less puppets.
A lot of kids' movies at this era were doing the same thing. A lot darker than you would remember as you were a kid.
Hell yeah.
This is like it's very much a Terry Gilliam film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but done through the lens of Jim
Time
Henson.
Bandits.
Yeah, it's very much in that vein.
Oh, Time Bandits is another one.
Even Brazil, like the
Brazil.
it's like it's a kid's version of the darker things that he was exploring at that time in the film.
This is the traditional, like I said when we were watching the movie, like the Joseph Campbell Hero's Quest.
For sure.
Like it's the Star Wars thing of like a kid is chosen to defeat the big evil. He goes on an adventure.
Yeah.
It's the premise for millions, countless stories.
Yeah.
And this one was that. And it's like, it's not like, there's not a lot of twists or turns really.
No,
but
there's just awesome puppeteering.
It's truly excellent environments. Like I love like the creepy crab monsters, the crab like the Skeksis army. I think all the puppetry is great. I love the design of the Skeksis. The guy is just top 10 characters, baby. What a stupid thing! I love.
Every time he was on screen, he always go.
He's just a schemer.
Or whatever he would do, or how do he does it? Oh man.
It's a race of star screams.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of like cowardly, like will stab you in the back, but not looking you in the eyes.
Even
like,
when the Emperor dies at the beginning of the movie, he crumbles like Starscream does in the original Transformers films.
I'm not dead yet.
And then he crumbles after he dies, and then the master, like Ryan, you said Yoda's away because he fades away. like watching this for the first time, like even Labyrinth, and I really enjoy Labyrinth. I didn't grow up with Labyrinth. The only Jim Henson properties I grew up with were Muppet Babies and Fraggle Rock.
Oh, Muppet Babies.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows. I love the way they parody Star Wars. Different tangent. But this one, I could see why a lot of people have it. There's a niche love for this. The same with Labyrinth. And probably a lot of other Jim Henson properties as well that I don't, his more fantastical, like
Storytellers. That's a great TV show.
Yeah, like for this show, or not this show, for this movie, I'm like, I can see why people love it. I'm like on the fence. It's like, man, this movie's really great. Yeah, that sounds like, man, this movie's kind of dumb. Well, I feel like I don't. It's not dumb, but it's like it's not
simple.
It is no dumber than any movie.
Okay,
I would say
dumb was the wrong word to say.
Simple.
It's not that good. I don't know if there are parts.
You can think that. That's totally fine.
There are parts of it that I really like. Like, I love the puppetry. I love the effects. I love the fantasticness of that's not a word, but
he went for a thing.
Yeah, I love the aesthetic. I love the you are in a fantasy world. The castle, the way the castle's designed, I think it's glorious. The Skeksis, you can tell they're evil. The wizards, the mystics, how they're somber and very. You could tell it's like, oh, this is wise.
The things that Jim Henson were able to achieve with puppetry. You just look at the landscape of this place is incredible.
So what's such a big deal about this movie is this movie is entirely puppets. There are no people.
Well, there's people running.
No, but I mean, like, there are no even when there are people, the people are controlling puppets.
No,
like, there's no living characters for you to see in frame. They're all puppets, and that is what sets this film so far apart from a lot of the other projects. This is the film that did that, and it's kind of a unique experiment in that way. Because that hadn't been done prior to this point.
Yeah.
It hasn't really been done since that point.
Yeah, the puppetry in this film is phenomenal. I really dig it. I'm like, man, this is great.
And to counter, like, you're right, the slow pace is part of the time period, but it's also part of the puppeteering. Like, they have to work around each other. Oh, yeah. They're like full body puppeteers for all of these characters, and they have to move around the room with each other.
There's a lot of long shots of characters just walking.
Yeah, really impressive stuff.
I think the scene that I almost checked out was the dinner scene with the Skeksis.
Yeah, I will agree that lasts a long time.
That it was like, okay, and then finally, like, I won't feel like 5 minutes into the scene, that's when the plot starts to pick up a little bit.
They spend a lot of time.
I will say, to counter myself, that scene did last a long time, but seeing the way that all these puppets eat is hilarious.
It is.
Because they shove it in their mouth and half of it falls out.
Well, they also have
their
utensils on their fingers. I think that's really genius.
That's awesome.
But one of the things that this movie captivates me is the lore of the world. Like, even the beginning, it's like standard fantasy. Oh, we're going to give you a whole bunch of exposition right in the beginning. But I love how there's always, there's 10 there used to be thousands, now there are only 10. Go to the Mystics, there used to be thousands.
That's a cool thing.
10.
Like, both of these, like, the universe is basically ending almost.
Yeah, they're winding down.
So each of them, like, are fighting to make
for their conjunction.
Yeah, and then the show is a prequel to show how we got here. How that crystal broke. But what's the Geklings? What are they called?
Geeflings.
Keflings?
Gelflings.
Yeah, so our, what did you say? They're like elves and deer or whatever?
They're like if elves did deers and had children.
Elves did deer. But yeah, I, besides, like, maybe some slow pacing, like, it is a very simple script. So I can get over the simple script because of all the amazing visuals of it.
I think I'm able to as well. Just like what I'm seeing on screen just trumps everything I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Like the scene where Kara and what's his name? The protagonist.
I forget already.
I forgot his name.
There's a cat on the couch.
Yeah, it scared me for a second too. The main character.
Yeah, when Kara and the main characters show up, and they're like touching hands and they're seeing all the cool, like the
the Vulcan mind meld.
Yeah, the mind meld thing. I was like, seeing all that on screen, I was like, wow, this is for the 80s. This is actually very well done, and everything is puppets. Everything is puppets. I mean, yeah, you could tell it's puppets,
and they're all real sets. Like, there's like so much love and craft that went into this movie.
Yeah, but then even what I'm trying to listen to is like, as someone who went to school for sound, I'm like, okay, this sound editing is god awful, but I could forgive that because what I'm looking at on screen, and it's very fantastical.
I think part of what works against this film too is this is Jim Henson doing this and properly, him and his company, and this is really their only project that isn't overtly comedic in tone. There are some funny moments or funny things, but it is not a
and
funny
I would
movie.
argue, because they made Labyrinth after this movie, I would argue that Labyrinth is an easier movie to make because you're dealing with more people than puppets.
It is, and there's an innate
so they
humor.
started hard.
There's an innate humor that comes just from having a living person next to a puppet.
Yeah.
There is a humor that comes from that, and they lean into that all the time in Henson Properties.
Like even
that's their bread and butter.
Brandon, would you agree? Almost like this is almost like a Lion King situation, where because it's all of these puppets and like the dialogue isn't super great, and like even though it's cool puppets, like they're not emoting like humans, like it kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah,
maybe
it does create a problem, a similar problem that the Muppets also have. I think the Muppets hide it a little bit better. When you're only with these characters, the way they emote is all in their voice.
Almost like voice acting.
And that's kind of what I'm saying, is that like there is a higher challenge to deliver this story because they are not allowed to rely on comedy for it. They are not allowed to rely on comedy to break the tension, even like the awkward tension of the fact that reminding you that they can do silly things because they are puppets. They are trying to be very sincere. They are just happen to be made of puppets. And
they treat this like a high fantasy, like not comedy, but just it's puppets instead of humans.
They treat it like it's a film created live action or animation. It just happens to be puppets being the players, but it is a sincere fantasy story.
And again, like when the first thing that happens is like, oh, my master's dying, and he's like, and the line that you said earlier, like, oh, maybe I'll see you again in the afterlife, but not right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's traumatizing, man. I realize people.
I never
movie.
as a kid understood that the master and the emperor died at the same time because they were connected.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I finally made the connection when I'm just gonna start calling the protagonist. I forgot his name. When the protagonist stabs the one Skeksis who was banished in the hand, and the Mystics walks away, and he notices his hand is bleeding. That's like, oh, they're all connected. Because I didn't make that connection when I first saw that the Emperor crumble and then the Master fade away. I didn't
either. I thought that was just symbolism.
And of course the
Jen, by the way, is the name of the
Jen.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. And then and of course the nail was driven in the coffin when the Skeksis fell into the fire, and that one Mystic was burst into flame, and they're like, well, there goes Bob.
That's cool stuff.
I mean, it is cool stuff, but it's like, oh, it's if you didn't get it before, now it's like
also,
they're connected.
For being a kids movie, it doesn't just shove it in your face. You have to figure it out yourself.
You're actually absolutely
I
right.
love that. Don't spoon feed me.
I like it too.
Again, that is the era. Like kids movies of that era did not do that.
Yeah,
that's a more recent thing.
Yeah, like another scene that I actually thought was gonna go one way and went a different way. I actually like how it went that way. Was the beginning after the Emperor dies, and they're trying to pick who the next they're trying to pick who the next emperor is, and then they say trial by stone.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this?
We gotta break a stone.
I see two swords rise up. I'm like, oh shit, they gotta have a sword fight? This is great. Why are they calling trial by stone? That's dumb. They cross swords. I'm thinking, no, it's gonna be this cool puppet sword fight. No, they're just gonna try and whack a sword into a stone.
Just test of strength.
And I'm like, oh,
that's stronger.
That's actually pretty cool. That's neat. That's a neat way of taking something.
It's almost like sword in the stone kind of thing.
Yeah.
Puppet sword fights aren't that cool.
Obviously, they're not gonna.
No.
I think Muppet Treasure Island is probably the best version of that, and the version of that is to have Kermit the Frog swinging a sword around like crazy and being like, "What's the matter? Are you scared of me?" And Tim Curry to knock it out of his hand. He's like, slippery fingers. I'm a frog.
Best pirate.
Frog hands.
I need to see that movie.
Muppet Treasure Island is fantastic. I'm so sad you haven't seen it yet.
You know I haven't seen it.
Man, that's a classic.
I know what we're doing tonight.
Oh no!
Do you know how much other shit we need to do
Fake
tonight?
Nerd commentary.
Yeah.
I'd
rather watch Muppet Treasure Island without a commentary. I want to be engrossed in that thing.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
The movie we're gonna commentary next. That's the movie I don't care if we talk over.
Whenever that happens.
Let's go.
All right. Yeah, it's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Are there positives, Brandon? Because I know you haven't really said much.
Oh, I mean, I'm still digesting the film.
Okay.
Honestly, I haven't disagreed with anything you guys have said.
So the whole thing's called the conjunction. Does anyone want to hear the definition that really makes that land?
Sure.
Conjunction.
Okay.
Junction. What's my function?
The action or an instance of two or more events or things occurring at the same point in time or space.
Yeah, that
okay.
makes
Yeah, three suns are aligning.
Yeah.
The two separate beings are coming together.
Oh yeah.
Piccolo and Kami, if you will.
Yo, that
Nail.
the scene where they fused, that was actually a pretty cool scene.
And they all turn into Uatu.
Yeah, or I
the
think
ring wraiths.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uatu the ring waste.
Yeah, that one was weird. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like anything I would say is just would echo what you guys are saying. The puppetry is fantastic, and one of the things that I noticed in the beginning is that the puppets,
the designs are incredible too.
To give them life, to give puppets life, is so difficult. And yeah, while a lot of them don't emote very well, in that first scene when they're just standing there, like they're kind of some of them are shaking, some of them are moving their lips, like they have little twitches.
Yeah,
and it gives it a sense of life that of just like not just standing there.
I agree. There's one shot that's on a Skeksis, and like the bottom left eyelid is just moving slightly up and down, just twitching a little.
Yeah.
So I actually think that the Gelflings, they are the hardest to like see much expression in.
Yeah.
They're and I think this is also part of the flaw. They're too human looking.
Yeah.
They went for too close to human being in the emotion scale. It's easier to see these more elaborate and bizarre creations be emotive because you don't know what that's supposed to look like.
Right.
Ogura.
The planetarium lady.
Yeah. She emotes incredibly.
Yeah, she's got
full eyebrow range. Her snout moves in and out.
She's got real hands.
Yeah. Incredible emotions. Like that works so well, and it's like it's humanoid but it's not really human. The Gelflings are like in this weird nebulous space. They're not given that full ability. Their eyebrows don't move.
Yeah, and
the
they
way
have the least amount of range.
Yes, yeah,
which is interesting.
And I think that's what I think makes it so hard to see them as very emotive. But the others I think are very. They have so many layers, like the Twitch that we talked about and all that. I think the Skeksis actually work pretty well.
The Netflix show, Anya Taylor-Joy and Joe Keery from Stranger Things are the leads.
Yeah.
So they might. I hope we saw the trailer. I think the puppets are much better than they used to be. But
we've come a long way,
and those actors are both great. So like, at least we can have good actors. Yeah.
If this is anything like the puppets that they brought to Christine McConnell's show on Netflix,
hell yeah.
All of those had full emotive range of expression. The cat, its eyes moved, the lids moved around, the eyebrows were very expressive.
The big werewolf guy, man.
The raccoon and the werewolf man also had full range of their expressive emotions.
Yeah, we watched the trailer for the show, and like they gave it the budget.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah. Especially for a revival of a old 1980s niche movie that not a lot of people would know about.
And you know what? They made a video game.
Niche.
Niche. I keep saying niche.
They made a Dark Crystal
Chasm
Age of Resistance tactics game, and it's like Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's Dark Crystal, and I'm like,
that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
I still like this movie. Like, I hadn't revisited it in a lot of years. I still do think it's really cool. It is very experimental. Yeah. You can feel it. Yeah. They were experimenting with a lot of things they hadn't done in puppeteering yet. They were experimenting with the fact that they were making a movie entirely based around puppets. That hadn't been done, and you can feel a lot of like growth in what they were trying to accomplish. And I think for the most part they succeed. It is a very simple fantasy story, but it was also never trying to be anything more than that.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
I never feel like it's overreaching and being unsuccessful.
It's always sincere, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
It's never it's not overstepping its boundaries. It's like, this is the story we're telling. It's about puppets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still enjoyed it. I was scared I was going to hate this movie, but after seeing what I saw, I was like,
I got a feeling that we're going to get a lot more of this. Like I think this is what the show's going to feel like. So hopefully you would like this, because you're about to watch 10 hours of it.
I know.
Well, I think the show will probably have quicker pacing, because that storytelling of today is just quick,
and also just how they know how to move around puppets is better too.
Yeah, I think the experiment worked, and it has only improved.
Yeah,
I think the Dark Crystal is. I think you can make an interesting. You can make an interesting line from the Dark Crystal to the Dark Crystal.
Yeah,
where you can just be like, here's where the experiment started, and now here's where we are with that experiment.
Yeah,
heck yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so glad that I guess it's on Netflix is fine. We have opinions about Netflix, but I'm glad Netflix decided hey, we're going to give you the money you need to make this puppet ass show.
Yeah, I'm always going to be happy to see the Jim Henson Company really given the tools to build something,
because they did Happy Time Murders, creative. And that was a failure on every part. The
Jim Henson Company did not do Happy Time Murders. Brian Henson did.
Thank you. Somebody part of the Henson family did it still.
Yeah, but the Jim Henson Company, they know what they're doing with these puppeteers.
Yeah.
That's something I forgot. Hey guys, one more little bit
Muppets.
From D23. Muppets Now.
We talked about it a little bit.
Yes, you guys did. You did not get to see the video I saw.
No.
It was a whole bit where Kermit the Frog is coming out. And mind you, this is how sold I am. This is a new guy playing Kermit the Frog, which is very hard for me to adjust to. And I haven't fully done it yet. I think now I'm sold. So what it is he wants to present this whole thing for us, and he was about to introduce celebrity guests, and then the Weasel lawyer comes out and says, no, you can't do that. That would be a behind-the-scenes look. And it's like, okay, well, I just, how about we set up what the concept of the show is? That would be a teaser. You are only allowed to give them this simple announcement. and it's just this weasel who's going about landing bad pun frog jokes on Kermit and then laughing obnoxiously and loud to an audience that doesn't exist, and like just talking over Kermit and not letting Kermit do anything he wants to. This feels very much in the vibe of what Muppets is when it's at its best. So I'm very hopeful this is the vibe the show is going for. I'm very excited.
I want to watch a good Muppet show.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. Anyway, 30, props to the Henson Company.
30 grams of fat. It's water.
Yeah.
That's a good joke.
It is.
That's from the Muppets ABC series.
That show is not overall terrible.
I watched the first episode.
Yeah. You should watch some of the later episodes because they were really good.
Real solid.
The bear is an incredible character. Oh, another thing, incredible thing. I was not in the room for this, but I have seen the video on YouTube. You can find it. The Haunted Mansion 50th panel. They did a whole celebration about it. They had a very special guest come out and read the ghost host lines for the panel. Would anyone like to take a guess? I will give you a hint.
Eddie Murphy.
It was a Muppet.
Oh.
No.
It wasn't Del Toro then.
Kermit?
No.
No.
Animal.
No.
I have no idea. Just tell us.
Deadly.
No,
the Muppet
funny.
Deadly, who's the one of the ghouls who helps Chris Cooper in the Muppets film with Jason Segel.
Okay, got it.
That's Deadly. So he came out and
I
he
didn't
was
know
like,
his name.
"Welcome everyone. I'll be your go." You can watch this on YouTube. It's incredible. Friend of the podcast, John Radley, shared this with me. He's a huge Jim Henson fan.
Hell yeah.
That was an incredible moment at D23. You should absolutely watch it. It's very cool. The Muppets had good play at D23, to be honest with you.
Heck yeah.
I'm
Puppets
glad that
for
they're
life, baby.
I think that they're finally putting some real support into them.
That's good.
So anyway, Henson stuff is great. Dark Crystal's awesome. There you go, folks.
Bing bong
I
applesauce.
don't really have any more to add. Or I think we're all good.
We'll say more when we watch the show.
Yeah, the show's coming. The show's out now.
Yep.
Fake Nerd Watch coming soon.
Fake Nerds Watch probably within a week or so.
Now, are you guys going to do the whole series?
We will do the whole series. We'll probably... we haven't talked about it yet, but I think we're going to go... I'm thinking 2 episodes at a time, rather than a single episode per episode.
Oh, you just want to do the whole season?
Because we have the whole series out. I was thinking we could go 2 episodes at a time and actually deep dive it, but again, we haven't discussed it off air.
Okay, well, I guess that's it then.
That's it for the Dark
That's the end of the
Crystal.
show. All right.
Topic.
Good night, guys.
Book Club